Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what I got for you right now. If you like those British sports cars, that they must have been quite attractive for some of you, and for others was not really what the brand represented it. Well, it could be. It could be. But if you're in those people that think this car was attractive and good looking, then you are looking at the right video. Let's see what I got for you right now. This is a 143 scale 1994 Lotus Elan S2. And they call this model the M100. Now, if you're familiar with the Lotus Elan, it's not a brand that just started with this model. The Lotus Elan originally, the model name came out in 1962. It was a classic model from 1962 till 1975. But then they stopped, Lotus stopped producing or stopped, producing the Elan model. And they basically, the model was no longer running for about almost 2 decades, a decade and a half. And then back in 1989, they took over again and they started making this model. So this model started running between 1989 till 1995. Now, if I tell you that that was not the end of this model, because another brand took over, and it's quite unique because the brand that took over this model was Kia. Kia took over in 1996 till 1999, and they sold also the model as Elan in South Korea and Kia Vigaro, they call them in Japan. But you would never expect that Lotus and Kia will share the same model. I guess I'm not sure what was the details in between, but I guess Lotus sold the the paper, the tooling to build this model to Kia. And hey, if it worked for them, it was good for them, right? Now the S2, what does the S2 means? It means that back in 1994, by then, it says here. Actually, the model originally stopped being this model. They stopped it in 1992. It says here the Series 2, which is this one right here. 2 years after the end of the original production run, a limited edition of 800 Series 2 M100 Elan was released during the Romano Artioli era. Romano Artioli, I guess, was in charge of Lotus. Was actually it was the owner of Bugatti and Lotus brand for a while, I guess. And so they made between 1994, June 1994, and September of 1995, when it was discovered that enough surplus engines were available to make it possible. It was only for the UK market, according to the Autocar magazine. The S2 addressed some of the concerns over handling, but power actually they reduced the power on the car. Guess it was affecting the handling a lot of power. It says due to the legislative requirement to fit a catalytic converter in all markets, the S2 had very similar handling performance to the USA vehicles because in USA it was already required. Okay, so it was like a limited edition of the S2. Now, the Kia Elan, here's a little story about the Kia Elan. After the final production of the Elan in 1995, Lotus sold its production rights to Kia Motors, which it produced its own version. Outwardly, the Kia Elan looks almost identical to the original. The most obvious difference are the Kia design taillights, which replace the Renault Alpine GT8 rear lights of the original. Yeah, it does. I'm looking at pictures right now. They look quite similar. Actually, literally almost identical. The only difference in the lighting in the rear, it has like a, it's the same shape. It has like a little like rounded, indented bubbles in it, but it's not really something that you will recognize from far. So the car does very similar looks. Let's talk about engines. You have a 1.6, and that was a Isuzu engine, four-cylinder, and then you also had a 1.6 Isuzu engine, turbo, four-cylinder. And yeah, those were the engines offered in this model. Then transmissions. If you liked automatics, unfortunately, this car was not the one for you. It only had a five-speed manual transmission. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let this beautiful car go around a few times, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone. So, what do you guys think about this nice British car from the late '80s and early '90s? I'm sorry, I spaced out for a moment. Did you like them? Did you think well? Let's say at the beginning, I don't think some fans of Lotus were into this car as it would, because Lotus always been represented more as a racier car type of car and bigger engines. And this one it was like more like the low end spec for Lotus. But at the same time, not everything can be like the big Lotus engine vehicle, the one that could race a Porsche, or this was more like a competitor for, I would say, the let's see, a competitor. I would say the Miata, but the Miata, it was a lot smaller and smaller engine too. But let me know in the comments below what competition you think this car would have had in the market back then. Probably the Porsche Boxster. That could have been you know, it's just more of the lower end spec for the Lotus brand, but it was a very attractive car. And that yellow, it's to die for. They made them yellow and in red. At least when I think the yellow one, it's definitely makes it justice. What an attractive looking! I don't think I ever seen one in person. And they said they were sold in the U.S., but I don't remember ever seeing one. I guess they sold in very little numbers. All right, guys, don't forget to comment below what you guys think about the car. Do you find them attractive? Were they sold in your market, in your country? And don't forget to give me a beautiful thumbs up. Thank you so much. And don't forget to click on subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button that will remind you when I'm posting more videos. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.